isn't it crazy like how bad Jurassic Park as a series is?
Mm-hmm.
Jurassic Park, the original, is great, but like the series as a
Masterpiece.
whole is so awful. Like it's unbelievably awful. I
Yeah,
mean,
well,
particularly,
and
particularly when you watch it all back to back to back, which is what I've done, this week. It's like, God damn, it's so awful.
yeah, and
Two
it's
and
so
three are not
sad that
fine. They're not.
we are now in the like third, almost, like it goes generations, almost like the first trilogy, second trilogy. Now we're in the third trilogy, probably with the way this is going to go. And it's just like, man, it's just doomed to do this forever.
Yes, Jurassic World Rebirth is going to make more than $300 million opening weekend, to the surprise of nobody. This film, by the way, I think it's safe to conclude it's definitely going to be the winner of the July showdown. Which I mean, I don't know. Yeah,
It could also end up being like my least favorite of all of them as well.
Could be.
Because as bad as I expect Superman and Fantastic Four to be, I don't think they're going to piss me off as much. Whereas this one really did.
I'm not confident of that. We'll see about Superman.
I felt too.
We'll see.
For me, I was too apathetic through most of this movie. It felt like it wasn't even a film. Like I was I don't know, like sometimes you could see past the illusion and you just sort of for a moment your brain is like, "Oh, these are just pixels flashing by on the screen and it means nothing." My brain had a few moments where I was kind of like that. I don't feel anything. I can't hate anymore. I don't have the passion to hate this anymore.
It's a little bit, yeah. It's a little bit like that. Whereas, with something like Superman, it's like, dude, we'll see. We'll see.
There are unique ways in which both F4 and Superman could piss us off. You never know.
Yes, and also that part of it is essentially that you're going to be dealing with different kinds of reactions to these movies. You may have seen it already. Those of you in chat. Jurassic Park seems to have been written off as being like worthwhile as art by a lot of people. What I mean by that is that there are a lot of people who seem to have the attitude, well, it's just the Dino movie. Like, that's what it is, and that's what people want to see. And as long as it's doing that, then that's fine. Like, a lot of people don't seem to recognize or remember that Jurassic Park is, like, actually a story that has something to say, and is meant to be, like, meaningful in any way, shape, or form.
When I think about Jurassic Park, a lot of things do come to mind. Obviously, the visuals and the film's construction and the characters and the dialogue and everything. But one of the things that primarily comes to mind, maybe first of all, is that Jurassic Park 1 actually is trying to say something. It has thematics. It has a not so simplistic, like I guess story that it wants to tell and what it wants to tell me as a person. It's about something, I suppose. But when it comes to these other movies, it really is like, like in a year from now, I'm going to get confused as to whether or not a scene happened in Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, Jurassic World Dominion, or Jurassic World Rebirth. I know that I'm going to look back and it'll kind of be like the Transformers movies where they just sort of blend together in my head. And I forget which thing happened in which one.
I kind of try to delineate them by the most retarded thing that happens in each, because it's quite a good way of, like, so I know that Jurassic World is the one where they walk into a dinosaur enclosure to check if it's still there.
Yeah.
I know that Fallen Kingdom is the one where the dinosaurs are released into the world because a girl is a clone and she sympathizes with them because they're also clones. And I know that Dominion is the one with the giant fiery locusts that go around for reasons that I could still, to this day, can't really figure out. And that's only one of them. I mean, that's
part of the evil
film.
That was part of the evil pharmaceutical companies tried to.
Remember the name of that company, right?
Or whatever.
Biosyn is the name of that company.
It's going to eat all of the
crops in the world that aren't made by Biosyn.
I didn't know that name before I'd seen that film, but I fucking couldn't take it when they said our company's called Biosyn. I was like, oh my god.
No, that's subtle. That's really subtle because it's short for synthetic. It's very subtle and clever, Mahler. You hate themes.
Well, they actually did lift that name because that is the name of Dodgson's company in the first Jurassic Park book. I think he works for Biosyn. It's the rival to InGen. So it's one of the ideas that didn't really go into the first Jurassic Park movie, but they've been pilfering the 80% of that book that didn't go into that movie in all the years since. But they've been misusing it every single time they do it.
Try a different company name. Biosyn sucks.
Like Biodemon, maybe? Or
Bio-Satan.
Bio-Hitler Incorporated.
Bio-Hitler. We're trying to make a dinosaur Hitler. Why? To cure heart disease.
It's to cure heart disease.
Oh.
Do you hire businessmen? Only the evilest.
Yeah, why not? Because with all that said, I recently watched Dominion, and I do apologize. We failed the world by having skipped that one, because we would have absolutely done a breakdown of that horrendous movie. Probably is the worst out of the selection. Unbelievable.
I think so. Yeah. Fallen Kingdom though.
Yeah, I know.
Dominion,
It's
though.
crazy to say in
Ooh.
front
It's
of
between
Fallen
those
Kingdom.
two. It's between those two.
Well, and it's like when I finished this film, I agree the notion that what the fuck was this film even about? Broadly like theme wise, but simultaneously I was like, I do think this is more coherent than those two. So congratulations.
I think so because it's a simple plot.
Yeah, but we are at the dregs.
Biosen's about like a global. It's a globe-trotting adventure to stop an evil locust plague from an evil corporation, and then all of our old friends meet up to have an adventure in Italy, which is a bit more. It's more Mission Impossibly globe-trotty. It almost doesn't feel like a dinosaur movie for a huge chunk of it. It
Well,
just
genuinely
feels like generic action
feels like
plot.
the franchise is radiated at this point in terms of the biology of the script, if you will, is like collapsing, and Dominion is one of the better examples of just watching this story where you're like, what are we doing? Why are we here? Why is there a plot line about a clone girl trying to escape the police or something? It's like, what happened to dinosaurs, man? What's going on? It's like locusts, fire locusts. Yeah, you like locusts.
Yeah, fire locusts. Wow, that movie's so bad, man.
And it was crazy because they introduce a whole bunch of like awesome, huge, from history dinosaurs, but they don't really get much interest, focus, description. They just keep saying it's like, oh, here he comes. Oh, we made it.
Can you guys believe seriously that like the three people initially chosen to make Star Wars, the sequel trilogy, was J.J. Abrams, Rian Johnson, and Colin Trevorrow? Isn't that insane?
I think I was about to say we dodged a bullet, but I didn't say it. So there you go.
Well, the thing is that The Rise of Skywalker is so bad that someone might genuinely entertain the idea like, well, he might have made something better. I mean, based on his work with Jurassic, how could anybody say that?
Yeah, no. I mean, there was the leaked script, wasn't there, which made it sound like it had at least a little bit more of interest than The Rise of Skywalker was. Had any in it even? I can believe that it might have been maybe more interesting than The Rise of Skywalker, maybe about a fraction of a percent more coherent, which is still a significant improvement for The Rise of Skywalker. But it's Jurassic World is not a good advert for your storytelling credentials.
No, and must be so obvious in that fact when it's like, as much as it makes money, it's just like, who the fuck talks about it once it's like a few years gone?
Talking about Jurassic Park, but they don't talk about any of the sequels, really.
No, and even the movies themselves, they keep talking about Jurassic Park, even when it doesn't make any sense anymore in universe. The people keep referencing the event of Jurassic Park, which, if anything, is a footnote in history of dinosaurs in this universe now. It doesn't matter, really. It was a controlled event, and they sorted it out.
Always new places, new original projects for dinosaurs, new crazy shenanigans, and the scale just keeps exploding. When you're at a point where dinosaurs are actually roaming around in like Italy, just like out in the open,
I actually don't understand it half the time, because it's like
I don't either.
a handful of people died at Jurassic Park. It went wrong, and then it got sorted out. Versus the whole world had a shit ton of them released, and they've had to deal with it for many years. It's like, how does anyone care about Jurassic Park anymore? It's not even connected to those events, by the way. It didn't cause them. It didn't lead to them. There was a huge gap between Jurassic Park and The Lost World is like unconnected. Jurassic Park 3 is technically unconnected, and then Jurassic World is certainly unconnected. So like, there is only one reason they keep referencing Jurassic Park, and it's because that's what everyone thinks about.
Remember Jurassic Park, yeah.
Which is funny because each and every single one of these films, maybe, actually, I'm not sure that this line does make it into Fallen Kingdom, but the rest of them have all got a line, usually right at the beginning, people are just bored of dinosaurs now. And it's like, I remember, because I hated the first Jurassic World when it came out. It might even have been the first review I wrote, because I just started at uni. I think it's the first published review I wrote. And talking about like, it feels like, because there's the scene in the first Jurassic World when they're in the control room and there's the guy who's wearing the Jurassic Park t-shirt, and that's sort of around that period where they're doing the meta stuff. And I remember thinking, this just feels like the writers are bitching about the script notes they got from Universal Studios. This feels very meta. But the more they double down on it, the more it seems like they do sort of genuinely believe that dinosaurs are boring, nobody wants to see them, we have to create bigger, newer mutant dinosaurs. If that is the case, why is it that everyone does still reference the original Jurassic Park? Why is it that the Brachiosaurus scene you can rewatch no matter when in life you are, and it's so much more effective than any of the massive mutant dinosaurs they've given us in the Jurassic World films? Could it maybe be that we're not bored of dinosaurs, and instead what we're really bored of is having them shoved into shit stories with no plot or reason to exist? Because I think that might be closer to it.
That's the thing, though. How can they genuinely try to argue that people would get bored of actual real life dinosaurs when people aren't bored of like fake dinosaurs
in movies?
Just the existence of real zoos.
You can go to zoos. People aren't bored of dogs, and there's like 100 million of them. Like, that people aren't bored of dogs. They like seeing.
Oh yeah, Fringy. Then how come over the thousands of years we've had them, we created all kinds of strange mutant kinds of dogs? Huh?
Oh wow, shit! Yeah, I mean,
the flying dog, for example.
The fact that people watch these movies and are satisfied with these movies just because there are dinosaurs in them proves the film's wrong.
Absolutely. And you know the worst part of all of this is we can talk about the film's point of view and even writing a world in which this is apparently true, but I hate how much it's infected everyone's minds. There are many people who repeat this as though it's true, even though every last piece of evidence points to the contrary. Like, yeah, people do find dinosaurs boring. It's like, what are you talking about? When did this happen? And where was the meeting? I was not a part of it.
People aren't bored of dogs and cats, and they've always been around, and they're everywhere. They're all over the place, and people aren't bored of cats and dogs. People will not become bored of dinosaurs in 30 years.
I have heard it said it's hard to be interesting like now, because like as a Jurassic Park movie, because they've done it so many times, and the '93 movie benefited from the fact that no one had seen it before. But nowadays you gotta do something crazy to get people's attention. It's just like, no,
oh my god,
no, you made that up.
All you gotta do is write a story. That's all you gotta do.
Alien or something.
Well, even the retarded. The two major mutant dinosaurs in this movie. Let's just pretend for a second that they're real, that they did exist, and they looked like that. This movie does the same.
Yep.
Like, it's so stupid to me that people keep repeating this when most of the public, no offense, there's no reason that they should know, but they know about maybe like 0.5% of the dinosaurs that existed. Maybe. Probably not even that. So you can just keep showing new ones. You'll be fine if you're really going to make this argument. You don't need mutations.
I'm pretty sure that an increasing number of dinosaurs are found basically every year, like a number of dinosaur species.
When we do our super chat catch-ups and we get our extinct animal of the day, it's very often a critter that we've never heard about before, and we're like, oh shit, that's a cool guy. Look at that.
And yeah, like all of this, I don't know why. It's like you want to just follow along with the notion, even though people are going to go see the dinosaur movie anyway. And a lot of the main sequences in this, the T-Rex gets his signature main scene. He probably gets the most focus, because even Retardosaurus doesn't get that much time. And like, I don't get it. If this is true, like they're banking on the hype that is the T-Rex. Like, yeah, much like a theme park would, over and over again, because humans cycle. And like, I don't know, how many would you guys be interested in seeing a T-Rex just the one time? Be like, well, that's that then. Tick that off the list. Bye. No need to see that again. Which obviously, proven wrong by the fact that you'll be interested in seeing a Jurassic Park movie just for the T-Rex hunting human scenes.
Real.
And there is one in every single movie.
Yep, of course there is. That's a little bit lame as well, isn't it? Like, well, you gotta have a T-Rex. That's like the most popular dinosaur. It's like, dude, there's so many dinosaurs.
It's funny how
they make them the heroes of the movies as well, because the earlier world films, not only the T-Rex but the raptors as well. That blue creature. I'm so glad I'm never going to have to see again. But like, they understand, and yeah, sure, they are the two most menacing dinosaurs from the original film, which is why they were chosen. But they're still everyone's most immediately recognized dinosaur for a reason, and people aren't bored of seeing them. Evidently,
wait, Blue's not dead.
What? Yeah, he is. Oh, she. Yeah, she is.
I thought
if
Wait,
this
in
film's events
Dominion-
can be believed, if this film's events are
Unless
canon,
Blue's
then-
hiding on the equator.
Yeah, that's Blue. Yeah,
Well, I've got all the
Chris
way
Pratt
from
travels
Chris Pratt
blue
was
to the
taking her
equator. Yeah.
to yeah. He
Ah,
called in the pilot lady from
Thank you,
Dominion
Chris.
and is like, I need you to transport one last dinosaur. Well, one and a half.
One last job.
He takes
Yeah.
Blue across the Grey Havens. It's like the end of Return of the King.
Yeah, into
There's,
the undying lands.
I really
of
think
the
the
Jurassic world,
the
man.
key aspect of all this, by the way, you don't even need to argue about all these things back and forth about the interest in dinosaurs. It's literally just how the films are created. You watch the original again, and you see how Spielberg films it, how it's written, how it all is edited together, where the select choices for the music exist, all with meaning, and then you just compare with how they do everything these days. We'll get to it. But possibly one of the most sickening choices in all of this for me, and everyone can have their own picks for this, but there's just a scene where a guy is explaining that he's not quite like Scarlett Johansson in the sense that he's never been under fire before. It would be crazy to be in a situation where bullets are flying at you. And she said something back like, well, it's never too late.
There's still
And
time.
In the background, they're playing the fucking Jurassic theme. It's just going da 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 da, and I was like, "What the fuck is this doing here?" They're just chatting
It's the
about
gunfire theme.
She's like
It makes
ex
no
spec
sense.
ops. What are you doing? It actually feels like they were like, we need a track for this moment, and they just hit random, and it landed on the Jurassic World, like the actual Jurassic Park theme. It comes up in a lot of new version slop, but that's shocking to me that the person who would have scored this would have made that mistake.
And it's consistent. I mean, even the original Jurassic World film pissed me off with the music choices, but at least it did sort of still just about understand what each theme was there to evoke. It just,
Yeah.
the unfortunate thing was that what the film gave it to evoke was absolute dog shit. So that you get the Brachiosaurus track from the original, which is of course like building to Wonder, and then you see Wonder, which in the original film is the Brachiosaurs and then the herd of them. Jurassic World has that music playing as some kids walk through a CGI interior of a fake amusement park, being talked to about like not leaving their bedroom, and then a kid opens the doors as the music swells, and it's just, well, that's not real. That's just buildings, and you've made them, and they look shit, and I don't like this. This is what the film is going to be: superficial splendor as opposed to the original thing. But fuck it, the music sort of understood what its job was, whereas this movie, no, like you say, it's just there without any bearing at all on what's actually happening.
Park motif, yeah.
Ugh. But even then, you didn't even wait for the first dinosaur, or rather, you skipped it. You went to what was the logic? It couldn't be any logic there. It had to be they just filled in and someone put it in and then nobody caught it or something. I don't know. Why the hell was it in that scene? So anyway, like, we can talk about what happened in this story, I suppose, but
It does have a discord. It does like this has I would say this film's story is it's one of those movies that has like a story technically, I guess. Like I guess things did happen. It did have
there's
a story.
something of a spine. It's pretty simple, but there's so much wackiness surrounding it, and then there's a whole B plot that's essentially superfluous, like a vestigial limb. I don't know why it's there. It must have been to tick like some kind of like family box. You gotta have kids in a Jurassic movie.
Well, it reminds me quite a lot of Jurassic Park 3 in the sense that the story through line is pretty simplistic. You go to Island to find a thing, you have to survive Island and get off at the other side of Island, and that's it. And then the only way to really elevate that is, there's a kind of a family arc, so we have that. But the actual thing, I mean, you begin, the ending of Jurassic Park 3 is so perfunctory. It's just like you go through woods, raptors want their eggs, give the raptors eggs, we can talk to them now, fine. Walk onto beach, US Marines.
Yeah.
End. But the family stuff is there to make it seem like there's a bit more of a story than they actually had. And having watched all the Jurassic World films recently now, it does make Jurassic Park 3 look a lot better. This one is like structurally the same, still has the family thing, but it doesn't have anything like the same sort of dynamism in the characters. So it's just, it's a rote movie. It's almost like it's apologizing for the existence of Dominion. This is like the third movie they should have made instead kind of feeling. And probably yes, because it is better.
Yeah, that kind of that blueprint. It does feel more Jurassic Parky, I guess, whatever that even means at this point, where you have 7 movies now or whatever. But yeah, I think I get what you're saying. It felt better in that sense instead of globetrotting to Malta to the underground dinosaur fight pit, kind of.
That Dominion, man. Just, wow, what a
That's
movie.
so
Because, upon rewatches them, right, I still kind of hate The Lost World and 3 as sequels to the first one. The first one is just, like we said, masterpiece. So watching something like those come after them is like, for a lot of reasons. But those two are just head and shoulders ahead of the next generation, which sink significantly.
They belong to old bad.
Yes.
Which is a different kind of bad to new bad. We've talked about this before. It feels like new bad. 2015 was the year. Like, that was such a bad year for a lot of, like, legacy franchises. Well, The Force Awakens, Terminator Genesis, Jurassic World, Halo 5. Like, this is all 2015.
Yeah, and so, World is awful. Fallen Kingdom is possibly one of the worst movies ever written. It's remarkably awful. And then Dominion actually manages to surpass Fallen Kingdom. Because at least, I think one could argue Fallen Kingdom, you can see how its flaws got there with incompetence, but Dominion, some of the choices in there, you're just like, what were you thinking? Who the hell thought this would work? And of course you'd be like, oh, we made $1 billion. It's like, yeah, you always do. I don't care.
Well, hell, even Fallen Kingdoms has occasionally interesting shots show up.
Yeah.
That's that.
J.A. Bayona directed it, who is, as far as I can tell, a better director has a better eye than Trevorrow.
This time we got Gareth Edwards,
who is not reassuring as a creator at this point.
I think I'm still a bit bitter about the creator. I think that film like annoys me in a very specific way. And he made that. For those of you who didn't watch it, because most of you didn't, and that's okay because it's pretty bad. It was essentially being presented as like, look, it's a kind of like a big budget original science fiction movie. We don't get a lot of those right now. And it's like, oh, that could be cool. And then I watched it, and it was pretty miserable. We talked about it on Cap's stream, and it's just like, yeah, when you go through that movie just beat by beat by beat, it's like, dude, basically nothing works. It's so bad. And I think coming off of that, it's like, okay, I shouldn't expect any. That was like your original idea that you wanted to do, and it was awful. So like, what does that mean when you then become part of a series that has only made bad films except for the first one? Like, yeah, all right.
Yeah, I remember being slightly perplexed by all that. It's an original idea sci-fi thing, because there aren't really any ideas in it, and when they are, there aren't any original ideas in it. It seemed like the one thing the creator, that Gareth Edwards sort of envisioned for it, was like the one striking visual is the giant space station thing hovering over scenery, which is just an idea that Rogue One had already done. So it was like, well, that worked with the Death Star, so we can do it again. It looks cool.
All sorts of stuff.
Yeah, it's just, and I mean, and at this point, because he was the director of Rogue One, it's like, yeah, but Tony Gilroy did some rewrites on Rogue One.
Yeah.
So, and Rogue One is like not good, taken in its totality, unfortunately.
Wasn't that because there were two interviews, like Gilroy said that the film was basically a corpse before he went in, and then I think they asked Gareth Edwards, and he said no. Like, Gilroy did some good work, but I'm proud of what we did too. I don't think I believe Edwards.
Well, I mean, much like with How to Train Your Dragon, the remake, when you've got, I guess, two creators who are involved in a project, and then you see what those two creators do on their own, and one of them makes something way better than the other. It's just like, you gotta wonder.
One of you is the anchor. Interesting.
So, probably worth doing a little bit of a foundation, like a history of the world, because it's going to get real confusing in terms of what they've decided to do, right? So they created the original park in the original film.
Would you say that, like what Kevin Feige said, about the MCU, would you say that the old Jurassic Park movies are more like homework than they are actually watching films to prepare?
I don't even know what I want to go with as a response to it. I just, like, it's You know what? It truly is homework in many different ways, but the way I'm sort of aiming at is just how I was going to say, what franchise would this be compared to? And it might be maybe the MCU. It's not quite there, but it would be getting toward there. Kind of like Star Wars will probably end up there with the next set of sequels too.
John
But
Wick,
just
maybe?
there are so many established world building things to allow their prior stories to take place that they've forgotten what most of them are now. So it's just spaghetti code in a sense, but for the world, because
I gotcha.
they build the original island, original park, done and dusted, film over, and then even rewatching The Lost World, it's kind of funny. The exposition right at the beginning of, no, there was another one with another thing on there that was all meant for this. It's all great, but it's kind of, there's a problem because plot requires Ian Malcolm goes over there and we need to get, what was it, photos to prove dinosaurs exist to get the public interested in trying to help us protect them from other interests or something like that. And so they go there, things happen, la la la. Jurassic Park 3 go back to Nublar rather than Sauna. So that doesn't really interrupt anything. It's where you get to a world that things start getting really weird, because it's established, like everything's shut down, but then they opened up Jurassic World in 2005. It ran for 10 years and then blew up in that film, as you saw. Very, very well written. Everyone loved it. In Fallen Kingdom, they go back to Nublar again because there's a volcano that's about to go off and wipe out all the dinosaurs, so they think they should rescue them. Only they were tricked. They're not rescuing them. They're actually capturing them, ready to sell, which still rescues them, but,
Yeah, I mean, if I was a dinosaur, I'd take my chance.
I mean, they would have had to go, they were supposed to go to a sanctuary, but in actuality, they're being sold to crazy gangsters all around the world, and it's going to be, oh my god, what's going to happen? And by the end, that clone girl releases all of them into the wild, which there's so many things we could talk about how that would never it wouldn't go the way that the films say it does. However, the next film says there are dinosaurs not only having been released from there that are all over the world, but like the DNA structure and code has been given on the black market to basically all countries that have an interest in it, and everyone is now creating their own dinosaurs, and they're just fucking everywhere. It's like a ubiquitous worldwide phenomenon, to the point where people, as we mentioned, are running like dog fights, but with dinosaurs.
It's quite funny to think that, like, 2 proves human cloning is a thing, and 3 proves people would rather clone dinosaurs than humans because nobody else is going to clone a human. It's
exactly.
just everyone has just been making dinosaurs now. Well, and then but you have to forget that exists for this film to function as well, because, well, we'll get to that, but like this plot kind of requires that people do not currently have the genetic code of all these dinosaurs.
This is why I'm bringing this up, because they establish that, but they also start to like run back on their own lore, because the clone girl is a clone of the woman who apparently, when she was her age, who she is this is so difficult to say. She was running Site B on Isla Sorna, and she cracked human cloning in 2000. Was it 7 or earlier? It would have been earlier, right? Because she had to crack it before she creates the clone.
Yeah, because when they play some of the videos of her in like the 80s and stuff, she was working on it.
In this universe, they've cracked human cloning in the 2000s. It's just,
maybe it was because of
Jurassic World takes place.
Well, and Henry Wu says he couldn't get access to, like, she died and rip, don't know how she did all that. And it's just like, what do you mean? She knew she was going to die well before she did. She created a clone of herself, and she didn't leave behind any information, research, nothing. Just
yeah, they have to capture her so that Wu can get all the knowledge.
A dinosaur ate her homework, is what happened.
Damn it. Well, so it's like all of that is a thing, and then if you watch Dominion's ending and then this film's opening, it is hilarious. Dominion ends with, it's so wonderful and happy that each individual dinosaur type is now living in synchronicity with some almost earthly analog, be it like, it's a Brachiosaurus. Yeah, it's just like, oh, look at them.
Triceratops and the elephants.
And it's only peaceful and it's only wonderful, and they're like, there we are. We live together in harmony forever. The dinosaurs are free and happy, and everyone is happy. Happy, happy, happy.
I can't believe it's like, have you never you know better. You know that.
Better.
Have you never ever heard of an invasive species before? No way. No way. You've never heard of an invasive
Oh, come on. A
species
T-Rex
before.
wouldn't change the ecology of an
Some
area.
of them would probably be okay.
No, dude, camels are like herbivores and they're like not good in Australia in terms of what they do to our ecosystem. Like, it doesn't matter whether you're a herbivore or a carnivore. If you're an introduced species in an ecosystem that can't account for you, it causes problems. Plain and simple. Like, that's it, you know?
And that's
I can't believe that
without
they would-
accounting
and
for like trying to put this in continuity with Jurassic Park 3, which has a line at the beginning where like if velociraptors hadn't been nuked by an asteroid, they would have emerged as the dominant species of life on this planet, not humans. But now they're all over the fucking place and no one's killing them. So what are we going to be replaced? Great replacement theory, but for velociraptors is
You're
what's
gonna get
happening.
us.
I think it does come down to as simple as like if we show a shot of like a triceratops just walking alongside like a bunch of elephants, it's like, oh yeah, that's nice because they're not fighting. That's how you know that a species isn't causing any problems. It's not fighting. Rabbits have never caused any problems ever anywhere in the world.
Well, even though
Like,
we consider fighting in the food chain to be a part of nature, like it's a perfectly functional part of it. It has to exist that way.
Well, yeah, right. Like you meant to, it's the whole idea of like, man, when like a crocodile grabs like a zebra, it's like, man, but that's nature. That's what happens, Whereas in this case, it's like, well, no, we just want to show, because it would be really awkward to show like a triceratops stomping on like a herd of gazelle. It would be really
well,
weird.
Fringy, remember,
gobbling up a bunch of birds.
In Dominion, in the Italian Valley where all the dinosaurs are, in the Biosyn Valley, they say that deer are all over the place as a mezzanine species for the predators to munch on. So
Makes
I guess
sense.
it works
Well,
the
some
other
of the-
way too.
Some of the films don't even want to deal with as well is you do realize like the dinosaurs that we have found, many of them live at very different times. Like they're not all, you know what I mean? It's
Yeah,
like
there's more
was from
time
the
between-
Cretaceous, but like the Triceratops was from the Jurassic period, I think. Like for
See,
instance,
Yeah, I think
There's a
there's more time
degree-
between the T-Rex and the Triceratops than there is between the Triceratops and us. I think I heard something along those
Between
lines.
the-
Yeah.
Just to show.
yeah, between the
I
two.
don't
how
mind
fast
that
that's,
so much though, in the
important.
sense that like that's sort of baked into just like how the original film
Oh, right,
functions
no,
as well.
sorry. I
And like
think- I think
the
the
partial
Stegosaurus-
explanation, Stegosaurus was a while away
Yeah.
from, most of
Yeah.
it, the predators that we see. But like that's all baked into the original, and it's sort of partially explained by the fact that these are not genuine. Obviously, they have been remade using various bits of amphibian and reptile DNA and stuff like that. Not broaching that question for how they can live in this particular oxygenated atmosphere and all the rest of that stuff doesn't bump me, so long as the film doesn't raise it in a way that bumps me, which the original film didn't do. The book did sort of explain, but it, like the Stegosaurus in the book has asthma basically because it struggles to breathe in the atmosphere. But that's fine. I can live with that. It's when a film hypothetically comes along and says, "Oh yeah, by the way, they're all dead now because they can't breathe."
Well, that's where
when
I
it
was
starts
going,
to
of
bump me,
course.
because that's
is
not how it's ever going to be working before.
we have the happily ever after, that this film rolls up and just says they're all dead. It's like, wow,
That's
clean
right.
slate. And of course, it's
Really.
the simplest solution. You want to get, we got to go to Island to get dinosaur materials, and it's like, well, they're all over the planet now. And it's like, no, they're not. They're all dead.
not. They got him, yeah.
Which is insanity. In the world that they've created, they've already established that there would be at least a 5-year span where all dinosaurs were all over the earth and they were all fine. You can't say they cannot survive in our environment other than the equator, but simultaneously they can live happily for 5 years. Like,
if you need them to go to an island, then just say that the particular dinosaur that we need, they have only been observed here at this location, and it's protected by whatever. So you have to go and cover.
Yeah, there are ways
and that'll be like that,
around
like
it.
boom, like that just fixes it. It
But
solves
even
it.
still, there's loads of genetic modification going on all over the earth now, thanks to all the DNA having been spread to all the companies. So they would just design creatures that are, immune genetically to whatever thing is wiping them out. Create
Why
their
would they
own
do that
parks.
if nobody cares about dinosaurs
Well, so
anymore?
that's the
and
other-
yet they
yeah.
also still really care about them because they're really expensive and we keep making them for some reason.
This movie is pretty awful, which is not even a surprise because the Jurassic Park series as a whole is just so grim.
Yeah. Ranking them, worst is Dominion, then Fallen Kingdom, then it gets a little tougher because it's
Then-
between this and World. Probably
It's
this?
probably this. Yeah, probably this, then World, then 2, then 3, then 1. And one is a chasm away from the rest in terms of being.
The fact that one is even in a list that could connect to these things is wrong. It's like
you want to
not
separate
right.
them out. They're just not the same franchise at all.
It gets an honorable unmention.
Yeah, that's one way to put it.
Yeah.
Because it just seems silly to even put it in the same category. You're talking about like an actual
legendary
one of the best movies of all time, and then just a whole bunch of slop. It's something to be said for it again is that there is a difference between what 2 and 3 are compared to the rest. But I mean, it's all just it's all just not good.
I think it's just because I'm not even confident. I don't know where to put this one. Because I almost hate it as much as the others, just for a different reason. Because with Dominion, I hate it because the story is just absolutely fucked, and what they do, the characters is fucked, and the world makes no sense. Like, it's a ludicrous Rise of Skywalker level film. With this one, though, they don't even try to give you a character, and they don't even try to give you a story. It's so empty. I don't think Dominion is as empty as this film. And I almost, some part of me, I think, hates it more for that reason. It's just, this is what they have become. They've tried doing stuff, they were no good at it, so now they won't even try to do stuff, and it will still make stupid amounts of money. I think, I don't know. I hate this.
I get the thought process there. I think I hate Dominion more. I think
so. It plays more on the nostalgia with the actors and
that's
like that.
That's something that they have that this film doesn't have as much. Even though it's still, it's still the same.
Yeah.
Still the same thing, right? Of essentially plundering Jurassic Park forever. Also, I just saw this, which is pretty funny. So apparently, this is something that Gareth Edwards said, joking about how he's had it too good in Hollywood. He got sent a meme which said, Gareth Edwards doing Godzilla, Star Wars, and Jurassic is the kind of greedy they warned us about in the Bible. I feel like I've had it too good and I should just step away and let someone else have a crack at this stuff.
Please, yes, do that.
Well, it's just funny. It's just highlighting us like, you are profoundly lucky given the films that you've made.
Out of that selection, Godzilla 20, is it 14? 16?
That's his best film, probably.
It is easily. It's not even close because all the others are kind of just crap.
Well, again, you haven't seen The Creator, but like the Creator is a 2 out of 10. It's grim. I was
also going to say, like, I don't feel comfortable even attributing what works about Rogue One to him. I'd be like, that's Gilroy.
No, I think it's safe to conclude. Like, I don't know. I feel like it's just safe to conclude that based on what he has proceeded to make.
But then, the Godzilla movie, all I remember about it is Bryan Cranston was carrying it hard. And then
once he's gone, it becomes a much less interesting movie.
Yeah.
There's some cool shots in there. Mm-hmm. This film doesn't really have any particularly interesting shots. It's all very conventional and bland. So, I don't know what to make of that. But I mean, I don't know. It's just like, isn't it unfortunate that it's just like, oh, a new Jurassic movie? It's going to be bad, right? Who's directing it? Doesn't matter. It's going to be bad. And then when you find out who's directing it, you're like, oh, so okay, that doesn't assuage my concerns in any way, shape, or form. Like, it's so lame that this series has been accepted to just, it's going to be bad forever. And like, there's not even really anything wrong with that because people just want to see dinosaurs. It's like, yeah, but why can't it also be a good movie? Why are these mutually exclusive?
Well, but there was a kid in the audience behind me who loved it.
Yeah, but like, that kid would love Jurassic Park. And then like,
dude, we were those kids that love Jurassic Park. It's like,
that's what I mean. It's like,
that's right. When I watched it as a kid,
watch it and like it. I don't like the idea that if it was a better movie, it would be less liked. What? Why would that be the case? That film has the dinosaurs doing the cool dinosaur stuff, but it's also got a story. So it's the kind of movie that when you grow up, you can actually watch it again and go, oh wow, this is great. Why? What is the point of making art that essentially you accept you're going to age out of in terms of your ability to enjoy it, instead of it actually being timeless?
And what, it'll be 3-4 years, and Rebirth 2 will be out.
3-4 years until the next one, because Universal knows their formula as well. And for some reason, Universal seems to get away with it more. Disney gets all this shit. Meanwhile, Universal, that at this point is definitely A-okay with plundering and just making sequels over and, you know, like, I mean, there's the Despicable Me movies and all of the Illumination movies. Now they're going on to live action remakes of DreamWorks films. I mean, and Fast and Furious is Universal too. They do the same thing and make like as much money, if not more, but like never get any flack for it. I find it funny how that's the case.
It's a relatively subtle approach. Disney does a lot of remakes, and so Disney is able to trample on more people's childhood memories. And Disney's also got a bit of a reputation for being quite overt with, you know, thematic message changes that it makes to its films, which are kind of unavoidable. It very much was putting them in your face for a good few years. Universal will probably get the, well, it's not woke and it doesn't hate me, therefore it's good defense, which is my least favorite of the things that currently does the rounds. It still hates you, it just thinks you're a moron. And all it has to do is feed you slop, and then you will say, "Well, at least it isn't Disney."
Fortunately, the problem is that they're vindicated.
Well, apparently, yes.
Like, hey, Platoon, at least it's not rainbow slop, okay? Like, all right then.
Well, I wonder how much of it is just that every other studio that isn't Disney doesn't have a strong of an identity to people. Everybody's heard of the major studios, but like people don't. If you ask people what do you think of when you think of Columbia? You might even have to prompt them to, it's like, what, Sony? It's like, yeah, and it's like, well, if you don't care about superhero films, you probably don't have an opinion on Sony. And if you care about superhero films, your opinion on Sony is strictly through the lens of the superhero movies they make rather than everything else they make. Fox, at this point, I mean, what even are they anymore? Paramount, people probably don't have any opinions on Paramount at all. At Warner Brothers, now at this point, Warner Brothers, I'd say, has a fairly negative reputation as of the last few years. And then you've got Universal, who kind of just get to exist as like, you recognize them, but you don't really think of the things that they own in the same way that you do with Disney. That they own Jurassic, that they own DreamWorks and Illumination, that they own like Fast and Furious. It feels like Disney, whereas Disney, it's like, oh, everybody knows what Disney is. Everybody has a strong opinion, like an awareness of what Disney is supposed to be, or what they're trying to be, or what it is that they're trying to do. And that almost earns them benefits for that because of the brand recognition, but also its own problems. Whereas in Universal, they just get to essentially coast on all of these things that they've accumulated and make a lot of money, as they're going to do here. And yep, there'll be another one in a few years, and it will definitely be awful. And people will say, yeah, but nobody cares because it's just, you know, dinosaur movie. Doesn't need to be good. Who cares? It's funny. People are listing things that these studios make that are bad. All of them have made stuff that's not good, but like nobody really associates it with those studios in a way that causes them any real long-term damage in the way that it has for some of Disney's failures. You know, where it's really cost them.
Well, Jurassic World Rebirth. How about that?
Yeah, it's so super empty. I mean, odd as it seems, I wasn't miserable while watching this. I felt mostly just mentally tuned out. I feel like being angry at it almost gives it some kind of I'm not going to give it that kind of power over me in a way. I was so apathetic to watching it, and there was so little of value here that I just couldn't be fucked to care enough to feel that emotionally strong about it. It's just, oh, this is terrible. I recognize it's like clinical. I recognize that it's terrible. I recognize this is awful. It's worthless. I will watch this and then I will talk about it, and then I will go on with my life and be sad that it will make $1 gajillion.
I think that might even be why I would put it below Dominion. I laughed all the way through Dominion. Dominion was hilarious.
Dominion was more enjoyable.
It was just so ridiculous that, like, obviously, like, it was absurd and stupid, and yes, it made loads of money. Like, all the same complaints roughly as with this one, but at least it was funny. This one has some funny bits in it, but like, to my mind, anything that makes you think coldly and clinically, that is god awful, and I just don't care, is probably the worst thing. But that's very much like a personal preference, I guess. But it's just like, this it might also be recency bias. I think I hate this one the most just because I want to feel something toward it, and hate's good enough.
I feel like Fallen Kingdom was very bad in a very entertaining way. Like, you could just laugh at how ridiculously terrible it was. But that's not a quote unquote quality that this film even had.
I still think it's more coherent than Dominion, which might be playing into why it's funnier.
So fair.
I think I would agree.
But like,
that
you
it's
know,
more coherent.
what value comes out of the
simple.
coherence in this movie is like nothing. There's almost nothing that just, other than watching humans move from place to place, they managed to nail that for the most part.
For the most part.
So probably safe to say we don't recommend this one, if anybody was wondering. You know.
This gets
not if you haven't watched Jurassic Park in a while, now's a good time to go rewatch
Easily
it.
rewatchable. So good. And that's the thing. When thinking, you know what, time to check out the Jurassic franchise, watch Jurassic Park, and then you can stop. Great.
Yeah, there is no franchise. It's just the one movie.
No need to watch anymore. In fact, just watch it twice. You'll appreciate it even more.
Yep. It's funny, right? Everybody's grouped these movies together. Do you think that given how bad this film is, even though it was kind of expected, what do you think it's going to sit in terms of the quality of these three movies?
Oh,
what are you saying?
in
like,
terms of
if there's an upcoming trilogy,
Jurassic, Fantastic Four.
Jurassic, Superman, Fantastic Four. Do you think this is the worst, middle, or the best? What do you think it will be?
I'm gonna guess that Superman will be the best, but that is not by anything. I would never put money on that wager. I would not. I don't say this in confidence. I say it as tepidly as can be. If I had to guess which one was best, I would guess that it would be Superman.
By process of elimination, it would be the victor.
My assumption, I also agree. Superman will probably be the best one. Probably.
This is by no means an endorsement.
What that means, we don't know what that means. But the reality is that James Gunn is like a filmmaker, essentially, right? Like even though obviously, as you know here, we are not big fans of his recent output. But like there is a level of unpredictability that works in favor of that film. But it could also work in the other direction. I believe that it stands to be the film that might make me the most annoyed, depending on how it all turns out. And my assumption is
investment in.
It's definitely the one I'm most invested in. Yeah, I'm the most interested in it. And I suppose what's funny is you'd be like, what about Fantastic Four? It's like, it's probably going to be worse than this. I'll be honest. Marvel movies we have seen, the average score is like a 2, which is what this is. This is probably a 2, this movie. But like Marvel movies generally average 2, and more than a few of them have been 1. Particularly when they deal with time and space. And like Fantastic Four's got Galactus in it, alright? So you know what I mean? It's just like, yeah, I don't know, man. It's probably gonna be the worst. We'll see about that. We will see. But yeah. What an exciting month this is, fellas.
I mean, yeah, this is the first of the Juggernauts. It was pretty fucking terrible. I will say, there's always a chance, right, watching these films that it'll surprise you with something that's worthwhile. But the Snickers thing, once that happened, I was like, oh, wow, we're fucked. Like, there's just no way that the person who let that happen...
First scene, and I already know this film will be worthless.
Yeah.
Jeez, thanks for killing my hope just right off the bat.
Even
so it doesn't linger around.
Killing any sense that I could delude myself. It's like, you wouldn't let me. I was like, nope. Out of that. You're like, all right.
Thanks for bringing me to reality.
I could see the other two doing more damage to themselves and doing more damage to things around them. Like Superman could do a lot of damage to the prospects of the DCU.
Oh, yeah.
Fantastic Four could do a load of damage to itself as well as to the MCU. I still think at the end of July, I will find this the most contemptible of all three of them.
Well,
no matter how
you'll
bad
find
the
it
other ones
even
are.
more contemptible if it does the opposite of those two examples, where it actually is a boon to Jurassic as a franchise and they encourage more and people celebrate the film. You'd be like, holy fuck.
Yeah, which that may well happen. No reason to conclude that's an impossibility.
I feel different. I think that in terms of the capacity to feel contempt for one of these three, it would be Superman because of the potential for it to actually start something that might have good things in it.
Yeah, like I've written
it is kind of uniquely poised. But Superman's uniquely poised to be the beginning of a new, essentially extended universe or expanded universe. So if that does bad, the potential for what that could have been in terms of its opportunity I will feel a lot of contempt for it in that way.
Yeah, there's something to be said for like, what does it mean to get an opportunity to make a Jurassic movie? It's like, well, that could mean greatness. It could, but it basically won't. But like, oh, you get to like make a Superman movie and be in charge of DC. It's like, dude, that's like the best opportunity like ever, basically, like in the film industry. And like, if it gets squandered, it's going to be like unreal, essentially. And if it gets squandered by really dumb, stupid choices that obviously shouldn't have been made, that's going to be. Whereas Fantastic Four, it's like, dude, it's Marvel. It's Marvel. It's going to be bad. Like, that's a series that I'm close to writing off. But the difference is that, like, there's more Marvel stuff that I can at least point to that I enjoyed compared to in Jurassic, where it's one movie. I like one movie in this series.
Something notable as well is with these tag or subtitles, right? Like Dominion, Fallen Kingdom, blah blah blah. My mum was asking me like with this new Jurassic movie, which one is it? And before I answered, she said, "Is it the third one?" And I was like, "Holy fuck, no! Like, not even close."
Like double that and keep adding. Yeah. Double that and keep adding.
Just like it is crazy because that's to their benefit, I would assume. Because if this were called Jurassic Park 7, it would be like, ugh, you know. Bit awkward there, but constantly refreshing to the point where some people will be like, "Ah, yes, the third one." Like, yeah, sure, whatever. The franchise is still that young. We're doing great. Rebirth, you know. This is the beginning,
boring
guys.
names, aren't they? Well, what does that mean? What's it referring to?
The reason why it's called that is because it's kind of like a standalone sequel, kind of like new era, new trilogy sort of thing. They're trying to distance, and it's basically what you do if you want to do that, like Rebirth or Rebirth feels like it's getting pretty close to like Requiem in terms of being like the lamest thing that you can have as like a subtitle for Awakening.
I wouldn't. Fantastic for the first steps though.
Yeah, it's pretty awkward.
Steps is pretty bad.
Yep,
like a baby.
First step.
Which is your baby.
So yeah, but it's just like I don't know. It's I will say, James Gunn made the right decision getting rid of the subtitles for Superman Legacy. It's like, yeah, why would you call it that? Just call it Superman.
Yeah.
Why? And it's the same for Supergirl. I think that it's been dropped as well. It's like, yep, that's a good idea. Short names. So the Brave and the Bold is probably a terrible idea for a name. But you know, whatever. Clearly, my mind is on all the DC stuff, as you can tell. I'm like, all right. Jurassic's done. That's what's going to be the interesting thing. I saw next week.
The Distortus Rex described as part of a unique group of antagonist dinosaurs that made it through the film, because that rarely happens. It actually described that the antagonist of Jurassic Park wasn't the T-Rex, it was the Velociraptors, and they didn't make it. It was just like, you know. But then Lost World, the T-Rex technically made it, but got tranked at the end, and is probably not going to have, you know, it goes back to the island, whatever. But the Spinosaurus definitely made it, and then the Indominus Rex got killed the fuck out. The Indoraptor got killed the fuck out. The Giganta, whatever thing, that died. And it's like the orc monster in this one, it survived. So maybe it'll be its trilogy. The D-Rex will get 3 movies, and it'll die in the third one.
Oh god, yeah, we'll come back to it, won't we?
Probably.
Because then we'll have more use for the flying Mega Raptor things.
I've seen the sentiment that the biggest problem this film has is not enough D-Rex. I was like, oh my gosh. Oh god.
Get me out of this place, jeez. Can't stand it.
Well, I mean, on that note, is there anything else anyone wants to say about Jurassic World Rebirth?
No, it's awful. Don't see it. It's terrible.
That film.
Yeah, terrible. Don't waste your time. Watch
Failure.
Since it's on my mind, I don't know if you guys saw it. Random Film Talk did a video I watched the other day about the differences between the Alien director's cut and theatrical.
You mean Alien 3?
And no, Alien, the first one.
I thought he did it on Alien 3.
He did not do it on Alien, unless he's got another one I wasn't aware of. But he's talking about the Alien one. This is very much an Alien video, and it was quite good. So, see Alien, everybody. It just reminded me how great that movie is. I'm talking about the 2 things.
Oh yeah, I must have misread it. My bad. I saw people sharing it in the Discord. I thought it was on Alien 3.
He's got some Alien 3 clips in there, but yeah. So watch Jurassic Park and Alien, and
well, hey, we can.
You know, It was
Random
mentioned
wants
before,
to,
but I mean, like,
we can get him for the Alien
Yeah.
Earth when that comes out. That'd be great.
oh,
Woohoo.
Alien Earth.
I mean, if you
Oh
want to
man.
go watch a movie in theaters, like if you really want to go watch a movie in theaters, you'll probably like F1. You know, you probably will. Like that's an easier recommendation than this. Wow, clearly, as evidenced by this whole conversation. You know, like if you really want to go see a movie for your 4th of July weekend, or go watch that, or just rewatch Jurassic Park.
I watched Phoenician Scheme, and if you like Wes Anderson's style, I would say it's on the upper end rather than lower. Not quite as good as Life Aquatic or
Fantastic Mr. Fox.
no, yeah, that would also be one of the higher tier ones. Why am I blanking on the something hotel? Why am I
Grand
Grand
Budapest
Budapest Hotel.
Grand Budapest Hotel? That's one. I think if I was to rewatch them, I could probably decide. But I love the Grand Budapest Hotel, and Phoenician Scheme has some DNA from that. I wish it had a bit more of the, I guess, comedic elements and heart of like some of the others. But I still enjoyed it. It's going to be on the upper end of the results of this year. I've also seen The Life of Chuck, which
Don't say anything.
well,
I haven't seen it yet.
well, there you go, guys. I've seen it. That's about all I can say. But
Alright.
well, obviously, worth as a conversation piece at the very least. That's what I'll say in seeing it, considering what it's about. It's definitely a conversation starter. Who knows whether people will like it broadly? Maybe we'll talk a bit about it some other time. But yes, 2025. You got, and as Peter mentioned earlier, F1 is out, and loads of people like that. So there you go. This some movies.
If you want to
floating
go
around.
watch a movie in theaters, go see that. You'll enjoy it. I'd be surprised if most of you didn't like it.
Warfare is also which is an easy recommendation for 2025.
That's number 1 this year. Yeah, so far.